That's why it's not my computer.
Oh, something was resting on the keyboard, honey. You were, it's okay. It's okay. We got it. Yay. We're in business.
Can you still hear me?
Yes,
All right.
Come on, Matt. All right. There we go. Yeah.
although we can barely see you.
How's that?
Yeah, you are dark. Yeah,
Well, they're a little louder now. Is it on the keyboard?
It was resting. Yeah, we got it fixed.
Okay, how do I get everyone?
So I have the PowerPoint up right now.
Oh, so as soon as the meeting starts?
So I'm sharing my screen.
Okay,
So then once I'm done sharing my screen, it will pop up to everyone.
okay.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay.
All right, is everybody here? Everybody ready to go? I don't think we're missing anyone, so I'll go ahead and I'll call to order the pre-meeting work session. We can go through with any questions we have of staff on our 3 agenda items. Does anybody have any questions on agenda item number 1? Okay, nothing on item number 1. Any questions on item number 2?
well, it looks like we might have somewhat of a discussion on that one, on 2.
Did everyone receive the add-on items this afternoon through your email or from the city?
Yes, I got it.
Yes.
Yes.
I got it.
I got it.
Okay, and we noticed that the applicant was asking for a continuance, but I believe city staff, specifically the police department, are asking us to move through with this item. Is that correct?
You know what, Rob, you're waving.
Yeah, breaking up.
Yeah,
Okay, do you think I should log out and log back in again?
You sounded clear that time.
Just then you did.
Okay, let me try it again and then let me know if it's breaking up. Item number 2 had a add-on item where the applicant wanted to continue this item, but my understanding was that the city and or the police department wishes to hear this item tonight. Is that correct?
That is correct.
So are there any questions from the commissioners on item number 2 before we start the meeting?
well, do we need to discuss the options? That we're clear on what's recommended in the options?
Yes, if you'd like, I can go through the options that were laid out for the commission and answer any questions you may have. Just keep in mind that these 4 options were just a guiding tool to help the commission in making an action tonight. But option 1, let me explain. Option A, B, and C are listed in a progressive manner, going from least restrictive to the most restrictive. Option A would still allow the applicant to have live entertainment, but staff's proposing it to go from from 5 nights per week to only 2 nights per week. That would be only allowing the live entertainment to occur on Friday and Saturday nights until midnight. And that would require the facility to close at 12:30 in the morning instead of 1:30 in the morning, which they're currently allowed to operate. Those hours of operation can obviously be modified as the commission sees fit. Option B would revoke the conditional use permit that was authorized by the commission last year. That would essentially eliminate all live entertainment on site. And it would lower their hours of operation, or reduce their hours of operation on Friday and Saturday nights from 1:30 a.m. to 1 o'clock in the morning. So moving on to option C, that would revoke both conditional use permits, meaning that the applicant would not be allowed to have any live entertainment, and they would no longer be permitted to serve the distilled spirits. They would still be allowed to have a beer and wine license, but it essentially would have to operate as a restaurant with no live entertainment. The downfalls of option C is that it does not dictate conditions of approval. The original conditional use permit that was approved in 2018 has a list of multiple conditions of approval that keep the facility from operating out of the norm. And that's listed in attachment E. So we do just want to point out that if you go with option C, you're also eliminating all of the conditions of approval that are associated with this facility, which could pose some issues with if they're just operating beer and wine. We don't have the hours of operation condition no longer in there. Both conditional use permits are removed. And then option D is no action at all. If the commission takes no action today, the conditional use permit for the live entertainment will expire in August of next year, since the planning commission, when it approved this allowance, only gave it a 2-year time frame.
I have a question. Can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead, Paul.
Oh, okay. All right. Since the applicant is asking for a continuance, are they going to be present? Are they likely to be present? Were they requested to be present?
Yes, they were requested to be present. They did obviously reach out to us and requested a continuance. We've reached out to them via email multiple times today to inform them that we do not plan to support the continuance. And then we took that opportunity to remind them of the Zoom platform. Usually when we get these requests in the past, it was due to travel issues. That shouldn't be the case in this instance, since anyone can pick up a smart device and connect to this meeting tonight.
Okay.
Looks like we may have had one of the owners to come on here. Looking at the name, possibly.
I have a question.
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead,
Are these documents for payment or unpaid permit or something from FedEx?
Those were documentations that the notice to the applicant and property owner were delivered.
Oh, okay.
Just to show proof that we notified the applicant of the.
Okay, then are there any questions on item number 3, the restaurant development? Okay, looks like we'll be starting the meeting in just a few minutes. Are there anything that staff would like to make known before we start the meeting?
No, we'll just take it slow, and if you have any questions, feel free to ask them along the way. We just got to make sure we make a proper record of each of these hearings.
Okay, and I want to make sure that Commissioner Huber knows that you'll be doing the invocation, and Commissioner Harriman will be the Pledge of Allegiance. Okay?
All right.
Are we ready to do roll call? We got a few.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure that if staff could remind me if there's anyone in queue who wants to speak, because I don't really see it because I have to scroll so much the way mine's set up here. So if you could just let me know, if anybody wants to speak or who's in queue, and we'll just do that for each item. I appreciate that.
You there, George? What's up, buddy?
How you doing?
I'm good. How you been?
Very good.
Good, good.
Okay, if everybody's ready, I guess we can get started. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Planning Commission meeting of September 9th, 2020. I call this meeting to order. Could we have roll call, please?
Of course. Chair Kurth,
Here.
Vice Chair Marsh,
Here.
Commissioner Wells,
Present.
Commissioner Huber,
Here.
Commissioner Harriman.
Here.
Okay, at this time, we will commence with the invocation led to us by Commissioner Huber and the Pledge of Allegiance by Commissioner Harriman. If you'll all please rise.
Heavenly Father, we seek blessing on the task before us. Bless our efforts with clear insight, our deliberation with wisdom, our work with clarity and accuracy, and our decisions with impartiality. Amen.
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 Okay. Stand up, face the flag, right hand over the heart. Ready, begin.
I pledge
Pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of
United
America
States of
and
America,
to the republic
and to
for
the
which it
republic
stands,
for which it
one nation,
stands,
under
one
God,
nation,
one
under
nation,
God,
indivisible,
indivisible,
God,
liberty
with
and
liberty
justice
and
for
justice
all.
for all.
justice for all.
Set of minutes that we need to approve from the August 12th, 2020 Planning Commission meeting.
I'll make a motion that the meeting minutes from August 12, 2020 be accepted as written and presented.
I'll second that.
I have a motion by Commissioner Wells, a second by Commissioner Harriman to approve the minutes for the August 12th commission meeting. I'll take a roll call vote. Chair Kirk,
Aye.
Vice Chair Marsh,
Yes.
Commissioner Wells,
Yes.
Commissioner Huber,
Yes.
Commissioner Harriman,
Yes.
minutes are approved.
Okay, we'll start with item number 1, if we can have the staff report, please.
Chairman, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I think so. You guys hear them okay?
Yeah.
Up a little again.
Yeah.
Louder.
Chairman, Commissioners, agenda item number 1, PLAN 2015 is an extension of time with an environmental exemption for tentative parcel map 19568 to allow for the creation of 2 parcels from 1 existing parcel within a shopping center. It's located at 13650 Bear Valley Road. It's the old Albertsons CVS pharmacy site. The additional 3 years will allow time for the recordation of the parcel map and is the final extension of time allowed. Staff recommends that the Planning Commission find the project categorically exempt under section 15315 entitled Minor Land Divisions of CEQA and adopt Planning Commission Resolution P20029, including the additional conditions you received by memo, approving case plan 20-00015, and staff is available for any questions.
Any questions of staff? Okay, if there's no questions, then I'll go ahead and open up the public hearing, and I'll ask if there's anyone here that would like to speak to us on item number 1.
If you would like to speak on this item, please raise your hand within Zoom. I have no one raising their hand and I did not receive any emails on this item.
Okay, thank you. Then I'll go ahead and close the public hearing on item number 1 and bring it back to the commission for a decision.
Yeah, Chairman Kurtz, I'll move the recommendation of staff with the 3 engineering conditions, 16, 17, and 18.
I second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Huber with a second by Commissioner Wells to recommend case PLAN 20-00015 for approval as recommended. I'll take a roll call vote. Chair Kerr,
Yes.
Vice Chair Marsh,
Yes.
Commissioner Wells,
Yes.
Commissioner Huber,
Yes.
Commissioner Harriman,
Yes.
motion carries.
Thank you. We can move on now to agenda item number 2, staff report, please.
Thank you, Chairman Kurth, fellow commissioners. Item number 2 is case ADMN 19-00069. It is commencement of revocation proceedings to review business operations and compliance with conditions of approval regarding conditional use permit number ADMN 19-00069. A conditional use permit with an environmental exemption which allowed live entertainment such as live bands and DJs to an existing restaurant previously approved to allow alcohol sales, including beer, wine, and distilled spirits, for on-site consumption via minor conditional use permit approved in 2018, case number ADMN 18-00127. This is located at 12174 Hesperia Road, The applicant is Mariscos El Chaca. To give some history, to put this proposal into perspective, I want to give a little bit of background. As mentioned in 2018, this was in November 2018, the zoning administrator took action to approve a conditional use permit for alcohol sales to allow this establishment to sell distilled spirits in addition to beer and wine. This was conditioned to have no live entertainment. The facility operated up until it gained approval in August of last year via conditional use permit ADMN 19-00069, where the Planning Commission approved this facility to operate live entertainment 5 days a week with extended hours on Friday and Saturday to be open till 1:30 a.m. This approval by the commission was only for 2 years, and it required that staff report back to the Planning Commission at 1 year. Well, that 1 year has just passed. When staff was reevaluating the report, when we were evaluating the report to bring forward to the Planning Commission, based on the numerous code violations and public safety incidents, we did advertise this and notice this proposal as a revocation in the event that the Planning Commission would like to modify the conditions or revoke the permits entirely. I would like to point to the add-on material that was added to the agenda around 3 o'clock today. That add-on information has been emailed to the commission, to the applicants. It's also been updated on the city's website under the agenda item that we're reviewing today. That request, that add-on information included a request for continuance by the applicant to an unspecified date. And based on the numerous calls for service and non-compliance with the conditions of approval, our police department and city staff do not support the continuance of this item. I would like to point out that we did notice this applicant in accordance with municipal code standards. In that notice, we gave them links and provisions to participate in this event. Typically in the past, when we've had requests for continuance due to them not being able to attend, is because they had to attend in person. Due to this new Zoom platform, we're hoping that the applicant was able to attend the meeting and provide some input during the public hearing. And I'd also like to point out that we again sent out multiple emails to the applicant today reminding them of how to join the Zoom meeting. So just to point out some of the code compliance and safety issues that were brought up in the staff report, there's been multiple fights between customers and employees. There was one fight that led to a shooting recently. There's also been a failure to provide video recordings to the police department as required by a condition of approval. The applicant currently does not have a temporary catering permit to serve alcohol outside, as we've confirmed with the Alcohol Beverage Control Board. We've also received various noise complaints. And there was actually a couple of videos taken by a code compliance officer that we have and that we can play at this moment. I'm not hearing any audio.
You're not?
I'm not.
No.
It's faint.
Very loud on my end.
Not here.
Oh, 13.
Yeah, I don't hear anything.
No, me either.
Mhm.
I think what's occurred is,
There's-
since-
Okay, I think we got it.
you think you got it? Okay.
Can you guys hear it?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, so that gives you an idea of the hours of the day. This was actually the decibels, noise decibels that was recorded at that point. This video was taken after 10 p.m. 125 decibels is an uncomfortable sound similar to like a jet taking off. So it's not a noise level that's compliant with our general plan. Our general plan looks for noise levels less than 70 decibels, which is similar to like a vacuum noise. So this was far in excess of what our code would allow for. And then to move on to the recommendations that staff's laid out to you, option A would be modifying the existing conditional use permit related to live entertainment and the hours of operation. This modification currently, this option A would convert the current approval from 5 nights of live entertainment, which is currently Tuesday through Saturday night, and that would convert it down to just 2 nights of live entertainment that would occur on Friday and Saturday night until midnight. The hours of operation would go from being open on Friday and Saturday till 1:30 a.m. and that it would reduce that to 12:30 a.m. on Fridays and Saturdays. Again, that's hours that you can modify. This was just to provide some guidance. Option B would revoke the live entertainment and extended hours that was approved last year entirely. That would essentially remove all live entertainment. It would reduce the hours of operation on Friday and Saturday from 1:30 a.m. to 1 a.m. And then for option C would be the revocation of both conditional use permits related to the live entertainment, extended hours, and the distilled spirits. Option D would be no action at all. I would like to point out that the Planning Commission's approval of the live entertainment last year was only for 2 years. So with no action by the Planning Commission, this proposal would expire for live entertainment and extended hours in August of next year. However, to do nothing is not something that staff or the police department is recommending at this time. As laid out, I believe that all option A, B, and C are all warranted. I think at a minimum, option B is appropriate to take away the live entertainment, which has been the cause of the noise complaints, but also brings an element above and beyond what we typically see in a standalone restaurant. The extended hours also add to that. So by going with option B, you would be reducing the hours on Friday and Saturday, and there would no longer be the live entertainment. It would still allow the business to operate as a restaurant, which we see throughout our city. So with that, we have our code compliance official, George Duran, on the line. I also believe we may have a rep from our Sheriff's Department available to take questions. And I'm also available should you have any questions. Thank you.
You're on mute.
Scott, could you repeat the representatives you just mentioned that are on standby?
Our code official, George Duran. Our code official, George Duran, is here. I also believe there may be a rep from our Sheriff's Department. Sergeant Mark Smith, are you available? Yeah, it doesn't look like it. It looks like for now, all we have is our code enforcement official, George Duran, who has some history on the side as well.
Okay. So I'm sure there'll probably be a few questions of the commission as we move through this. Before we open up any kind of public hearing, are there any questions directly of staff from the commission at this point?
I have a Scott. Could you recap option C for me, please?
Yeah. So option C would revoke the live entertainment. It would also revoke the extended hours of operation, and it would also revoke their ability to sell hard alcohol.
Okay. But they could still sell beer and wine, right?
Yes, they would still be able to sell beer and wine, and they would not be held to any of the conditions of approval.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
I have a question. Hey, George, when your code enforcement officers have gone over there to do, have they had any security on site? Because if I recall, they were supposed to have 4 security guards there when they were playing music outside and you know, that type of thing.
I couldn't tell you whether we saw security there. We've spoken to the business manager during the daytime to alert him of the issues we received. The nighttime video, we instructed the officer to observe and not make contact, simply out of officer safety. I don't think she got close enough to verify to see there was security on site.
And my understanding is they didn't, they weren't able to provide any video of any of the problems that apparently transpired with the Sheriff's Department having to respond?
Yeah, some of the information we got from the Sheriff's Department, Scott can go into a little deeper on the actual incident. Particularly was an incident, an altercation that happened inside, and what we got from the Sheriff's Department was that upon their investigation, part of their investigation was to look at their video surveillance system and determine the facts of what happened. They were denied that access.
Okay, and then I understand there was a shooting recently there. Was the shooter arrested?
I don't believe so. I think this is definitely a question for police as to whether or not what the status is of the investigation. We do know that the shooting happened outside. We do know that the shooting happened related to the to the business establishment. And it happened during their operation.
Yeah, because, I mean, if, that's a pretty dangerous situation. And then to be derelict enough to not have your cameras. And I don't think they've got any security there, to be honest with you. I just don't, I mean, like I said, we can go back or staff can go back and check it out, but I believe they were supposed to have 4 security guards there. So if that in fact,
Excuse me. Sorry, I'm not sure if I'm able to be heard. I'm Nicole Mercio, and I'm here on behalf
you're
of Marisol
talking out
Zapacha.
of turn, ma'am. You're talking out of
No,
turn.
I was just letting you guys know I was here. I wasn't sure how to let you know. I've never done this before. So I'm just letting you guys know I'm here.
Sure. Nicole, are you here to testify on item number 2?
I believe so. I believe she is the applicant that we've been communicating with.
Okay, well, I want Nicole to know that very shortly here, we're going to open up the public hearing and we're going to ask her to speak. So if you want to just hold on a minute, Nicole, you're at the right place.
And Chairman Curtis, if I could add to the questions that Bob Harriman listed. Yes, there was a condition of approval, number 18, that required a minimum of 4 licensed security guards to be present on site during live entertainment events. And related to the shooting, it did occur on August 22nd, approximately 1 a.m. This was a fight between 2 customers that led to a shooting. The victim was airlifted to the hospital. Related to the video surveillance, that was original condition of approval that they provide access to the video surveillance per condition 23. Based on the incident log from the police department on December 14th, 2019, the establishment failed to comply with this condition of approval.
I just want to make a note that, as I recall, last year when they were before us, the security officers were to be manned, and they were inside the building at the time. So now it looks like, from looking at that video, they're outside. And so I just want to make a note that that was something that was of a condition. So we don't know whether officers, security officer guards were inside as noted under the condition and or outside. So we need to find that out as well.
Well, I would counter that as if you're going to have 4 security guards on site and then COVID goes and you allow them to go outside, to me, it would be a rather weak excuse to say, well, we only had to have all 4 of them inside. That's ridiculous. Okay, so
No, I'm not saying
I don't know if that's what you were meaning,
no.
Mrs. Wells, but just to clarify, could you clarify that, what you meant?
What I meant was we covered the issue of security guards last time, and the facility was all, and the activities were all inside. We just need to make sure that they moved those security guards outside with their movement because of COVID-19. No guards would need to be inside, I would think, if there's no activity inside, eating inside, entertainment inside, drinking inside, that those officers were present and have been noted maybe by the police department as part of our provisions. That's what I mean.
Thank you for the clarification.
Sure.
Commissioner Huber, do you have any questions of staff before we open the public hearing?
If there's somebody in the audience that's going to speak, I'll wait until after that. Otherwise, I'll have my comments. I don't know if there's somebody from the applicant going to speak or not.
I think so. So if you're okay with it, I am going to, I'm going to go ahead and open up the public hearing at this time. And I saw someone by the name of Nicole, and I believe she may be the applicant or a representative of the business owner. Is this true?
That's,
Do we have the applicant or the representative for the business owner here to speak to us? Now would be the time as the public hearing is open.
Yes, Nicole Mercio.
And hi, Ms. Mercio. Go ahead.
Hi. I would just like to touch on a few of the items that were talked about. As far as the shooting goes, and at first, actually security, yes, we do have our 4 security guards. We have one on each side of the tent, one that patrols the parking lot, and there is one who stands in front of the front door, just in case somebody needs to use the restroom. Now, I know right now the shooting and noise complaints seem to be the biggest issue. As far as noise complaints go, those have not happened at all until we had to move outside. And we understand what the issue is with that, and we are willing to work with that as much as we possibly can while we have to function outside. Now the shooting, that really was something that the person, my understanding was, went back to his car and got the gun. They were not dining with it in our establishment. They were not sitting there the whole time with it. The altercation happened with people who were actually already being told that they needed to leave, and they made the excuse to go inside and use the restroom and started a whole brawl. And our security was consumed, and unfortunately, they can't watch everything that happened. Security cameras, I personally showed the sheriff the footage of the cameras of that incident. I can't speak for the other incident because I wasn't even aware of that other incident. That one I can't answer. But as far as cooperation with the previous one, they had our full cooperation.
Okay. Do the commissioners have any questions since we have the applicant here now?
Yeah, I do. I believe in the report, it said there was no video provided.
There absolutely was. I can show you video of me showing the video.
Okay,
And
but
I have the screenshot on my phone.
was
So
that
I'm really not sure why that was said.
was that for every circumstance or just the night of the shooting? Because there's been fights there too, also.
Yeah, anything that they've ever asked for, and somebody who was there that had access to the cameras was more than willing to show it. Now, if there was one specific incident, there might have been somebody not there that had the code to the cameras. But if they, I can't answer that one because I might not have been there, or one of the other owners might not have been there that specific night.
Has there been an investigator with the sheriff's department come as a follow-up after the shooting and asked for video?
No.
So the sheriff's department has not, there was a shooting, just so I got this right. There was a shooting and the sheriff's department did not follow up on the incident?
Not to my knowledge, they have not.
Rather
They have my
strange.
email, phone number, and contact information, and I haven't received any contact from them whatsoever.
George, do you know anything about that?
No, I'm not aware of any follow-up from the police department for any of the circumstances that have resulted in a report. A report meaning that one that would have prompted for possible district attorney's actions, a filing of criminal counts, including the shooting. And we know for a fact that there was one incident where, according to the police department, they negated video surveillance. It was not the shooting. It was an altercation that happened earlier this year, maybe even as late as last year.
Just a fight or something like that?
That is correct. On December 14th, 2019, the police log indicated that there was a fight between customers and employees, and that the establishment refused to let the deputies see the video. They were uncooperative.
And so the altercation was not two customers, but it was the restaurant staff and patrons,
That is correct.
and no video provided.
Correct.
Okay.
Okay, can I get a clear understanding to maybe the owner can answer the question regarding our attachment H, which has 2 pages of what I needed clarification on being a summary of incidents between August 1st of 2019 through I don't know, maybe it's through June 26th of 2020, which there are several 2 pages of incidents almost every month for almost a year and a half. Can I get some clarity on that, or?
Hi, sorry, are you referring to, so it looks like something, they're all kind of coded, correct? There's
Yes.
a few that are on there that have wording underneath.
And is that your address list? Is that your address
What?
listed at each one?
Yes.
Okay.
Now, what each call is for, I really am not sure. You know, I don't feel that certain things should be on there, like a stolen vehicle. I mean, that I can't control. That happens in random parking lots every day. You know, somebody who didn't want to leave. I mean, that's us asking for help. So I'm not sure how that could be a problem. We do have incidents now when they have certain fights. You know, we do have some staff that have tried to help the security, or I don't know if they mean with security when they say fight between staff, if they consider our security staff. So that one I'm also a little confused about. And other than that, the other ones, I really don't have any idea of what they would be.
I'm also seeing an unknown person called the establishment and threatened to come back and shoot somebody.
That was with one of our managers. She had some personal issues going on. Well, our previous manager, and that was a phone call that she had been receiving. So she felt it was for her safety to call the police to just let them know that somebody.
Okay, that's all I have.
When you, I have a question for the applicant.
Yeah.
The fights between staff and the patrons, is that the security guards that you're hiring, or is that your the restaurant workers?
I'm assuming it's the security. That's why I was saying I would kind of need a little bit more clarification on that too, because none of our staff has ever been in, as far as restaurant workers, have been in fights in the restaurant. So it has to be with security.
Okay, and then prior to the fights taking place, I mean, has there been an outreach to law enforcement to come in and maybe defuse the situation or to take over the situation before an actual fight takes place between the security guard? I don't know what are your rules as far as an establishment when it concerns that?
Well, sometimes, you know, when we see people who might need to be escorted out or leave, might have already had a little too much to drink and they're getting cut off, people don't get happy about that. So things can escalate very quickly, and sometimes there's not enough time to call police officers before, you know, they might jump up, especially with men, and another man telling them, hey, you can't drink anymore. They don't really like that. Or, you know, hey, I think it's time for you guys to go. You guys are getting a little rowdy. Again, they don't really like that. So things can go from 0 to 60, you know, really fast, and they kind of handle it as fast as they can and diffuse the situation, get it outside, and then go from there. If we need more assistance, then we definitely call the police.
At what point in the night when you have the live bands and the weekends and stuff, at what point do you stop serving food? At what point does it stop being a restaurant and becomes more of a nightclub?
Food is there at all times, and it's the lights are never changed. I mean, it's always a restaurant environment. It's just the music gets thrown in there, but food's always there. It's always being served, and it's always available. Full menu. Sit down. We don't move any tables for, you know, take any tables away or whatnot. Everybody's sitting down at their own, you know, area.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thanks. Oh, go ahead.
Okay, and a question to the owner. At what point of the night do you stop serving alcohol of any kind before closing?
We do last call at 12:30, and so that way we can try to get their drinks to them and have them finished by 1.
Even though you were open till 1:30?
Till 1:30.
Weekends,
yeah. We
till 1.
stop serving. Correct. So we stopped serving at 12:30.
Because some of the incidents were like 2 a.m., 4 a.m. What's going on that the incidents were happening at that time of the early morning?
Those should all be probably outside, and people linger. They stay in the parking lot. You know, we can't really kick them out of the parking lot, unfortunately. That's why we have security out there. We try to tell them to move along, but a lot of people just linger.
Till 2 and 3 hours after you close?
I really don't know about the 4 in the morning. Some of these phone calls might have happened after some of our staff has even left. You know, I can't, we don't stay till 4 or 5 in the morning. So I really don't know who all stays or who goes home. So I feel like some of these phone calls can't really, you know, if it doesn't happen inside, I mean, people's actions once they do outside and once they get out there, I really can't control. You know, we do our best to control the situations inside, and that's all we can do, really. I can't decide how somebody's going to leave or act once they get to their car or whatnot.
I'd like to, one more thing, on December 14th, sounds quite different, ma'am. There was a fight between 1:30 a.m. and 3:15 a.m. And it says the fight was with employees and customers. So are your employees going home, or are they going outside and fighting on the way to their car? I don't know. It sounds like,
you know, that one. Yeah, I'm racking my brain on that date because I'm trying to see who would. I know myself, and my other management, if there was an incident, there's no way we would deny access to the police. And I'm not saying they're not telling the truth. So that one I'm trying to figure that situation out. And I really don't know. That's a pretty big time frame too, almost 2 hours. So I mean, I really don't know about that specific incident.
I see that sheriff or the sheriff's department has somebody on here now. How you doing, officer? Is his audio on?
He just advised me he's having some trouble.
Can you hear me?
Audio.
Now it's
There
on.
we are.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me now? This is Sergeant Smith.
Sergeant Smith.
But I have a
sorry about
question
that.
before he comes on. Is there anybody else other than Nicole from the establishment present to speak on the behalf of because some things that she does not know, I can't answer. Is there anybody else? Can you check that out, Rob?
Yeah, Nicole, did you hear that? Is there anyone else with you as an applicant or business owner, or is it just you?
No, it's just me.
Okay, then my question is, Sergeant Smith, the night of the shooting and the victim was airlifted out. Were you guys ever able to ascertain any video or make an arrest or gain access to video?
So just a brief on the disposition of the call. The victim was shot in the hip. He was transported to Loma Linda, and they had a vehicle description of the suspect, but they do not have any other suspect leads at this time. So there was no arrest made at this time. Our investigators are still working on it. And there was video, according to the disposition the deputy put in there, that they did it. They were able to see video of the fight, which I believe started inside by the restrooms, and then security had moved it out into the parking lot area.
Thank you, Sergeant.
Are there any more questions for the business owner? Commissioner Huber, do you have anything?
No questions, no.
Okay. I have one topic I wanted to kind of cover. We've talked about the fights and reports of violence through our sheriff's department. We also have numerous complaints through our city's code enforcement department that have to do with noise complaints and excessive noise. I'm wondering, Nicole, if you've seen the staff report that this commission is looking at tonight with staff's comments and backup material from code enforcement involvement. Are you aware of this report?
And, like I said, the noise, the complaints didn't start until we were outside. We completely understand what the issue is. We've made a lot of adjustments as far as no speakers on any of the instruments, no amplifiers. The only person who should have a mic should be the singer. And the type of music that it is a very loud type of music just because of the amount of instruments. So we've also asked them to cut down, the group size and to kind of play a little more gentle, as much as they possibly can. And I asked, I really can't recall her name, who I spoke with, the one who did the reading, if she would be willing to come back out and hear it and see if it was acceptable. And even if she can call me and I'll just talk to her and let me know. And if it wasn't, then we'll stop the music until we can get back inside and have that barrier.
Okay, yeah, I think for me personally, that's one of the biggest concerns there because we have numerous accounts and, I'm reading the details of this staff report. It seems, my take on this from what they shared with me is that it doesn't look like the business was cooperating all that well with code enforcement when these issues brought up, and there are numerous complaints. Even, I don't know if you're aware of this, but there's even been complaints from your neighbor, Jack in the Box, that they're unable to hear the orders being taken at certain times. It's so loud. I also have personal individuals that I know that live nearby that establishment, and they have been telling me that it is quite loud at night when trying to sleep, and that was as recent as last night, Tuesday night, last night. I'm concerned with that. I would also like to ask you, Nicole, do you have the ABC license permitting, through, I don't know if they call it the COVID licensing or how that works, to be able to serve the food and the alcohol outside?
That was brought to my attention, and unfortunately, that was something that went over the top of my head here. So I did drop off the application yesterday for it down in the Riverside office. I was completely unaware that I even needed that. Honestly, I'm not even going to try to lie. So I am on top of it, though, and we're getting that.
And what date did you move the establishment outside? It
was I would say about May.
As soon as it started.
Possibly May or June, as soon as we got the go-ahead from the governor to be able to dine outside.
Nicole, I have one question for you. I don't remember, it's been a year now. I do remember the applicant and another gentleman that came before us at City Hall last year. Was that you? I can't remember the names.
Yes, that was me, and then my husband.
Right, okay, good, I remember. Thank you. Is there anyone else that has questions for Nicole?
Chair Kurth, I do have a public comment that was emailed to me.
Okay, let's go with that right now. Thank you.
Okay. The resident is a Debbie Wilson. She forwarded me an email that she had sent to the mayor, and she requested that I read it into public comment. The date is August 29th at 3:37 in the morning. Dear Mayor Garcia, first, my apologies for bothering you with this problem, but I've gone to the place several times to no avail. I live in the Wimbledon Apartments behind Desert Valley Hospital. Across the street is a restaurant called Marcio's on Hesperia Road. They are currently outside due to COVID. Their band far exceeds the allowable decibels. They can be heard clear over here, making it difficult to sleep even though I only have one ear. I have called dispatch. I have written to the captain, only to be told the officer went and didn't hear anything. I called code enforcement, and Officer Medina admitted to me that they have a lot of complaints against Marcio's. A code enforcement officer went out and claimed to not hear anything. Well, they both went out the wrong day and time. I told them it's Friday and Saturday from 8:30 p.m. to 1:30 a.m. and Sunday until 10 p.m. It's so bad tonight that after calling Marcio's and the police for months, I got out of bed all alone at 69 and went over there at 1:15. As I pulled into the parking lot, their security walked up and the music was so loud I had to yell so he could hear me. I told him to take their music lower so we could sleep. He proceeded to laugh in my face and walk away. How respectful. So the manager walked up without a mask and put his upper torso in my window and proceeded to tell me, "Now look, ma'am." I told him to lower the music and get out of my car. Then the nicest surprise of all, a sheriff SUV pulled around the band and simply left without doing anything. Dispatch told me 2 weeks ago to file a complaint, but if the police aren't going to do anything, what good will it do?
Do I have to get an attorney just to be able to sleep? What about my rights? This is totally against Penal Code 415. I get to sleep. But Marcio's isn't letting me, and the police go, hear it, and do nothing. I'm tired of being disrespected, laughed at, and being made a fool of. So before I hire an attorney, I turn to you. I have proof of how loud it is. I screenshotted a review of a customer and will attach it to this email. I was so tired when I went tonight, I forgot to take my phone and record it. She emailed me directly on Saturday, September 5th, and said, it's Saturday night at 11:45. The music is so loud that as usual, it's very difficult to sleep. I'm getting a headache from the drums pounding. They are singing so loud. I don't know what's worse, the pounding drums or their singing. I have had all I can take. It's been months of begging the police, months of no sleep. If nothing is done in this upcoming meeting, I will be hiring an attorney. And those were
Okay, thanks for reading that. And so are there any other, are we showing any other people that would like to speak on this item?
If you'd like to speak, please raise your hand through Zoom. I don't have anyone that has their hand raised.
Okay, then I'm going to bring it back to the commission for some discussion and to try to come to a consensus on what's going to be done here tonight. So I'll close the public hearing at this point, and I want to bring it back to the commission to discuss, deliberate. We can still ask questions to staff if need be. They're still all here.
Yes, Chairman Kurtz, I have a few comments. There was 68 calls last year. That's one call every 5.5 days. And half of them were in 19, half of them was in 20. It seems like they don't want to abide. It's kind of like teasers. They're not going to abide by anything that we tell them to do. I recommend that we stop all music until after the COVID-19 is over, because you can't have a band outside that's not going to overplay. So, and I would eliminate the closure of the bar at 12 o'clock on Saturday and Sunday, make it a little bit earlier. And then change that maybe after the COVID is over. Or you want to make some restrictions now, I don't know. But you got to close the band, the DJ and the band. I mean, that's a must. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you, Larry.
All right, that's all I have.
Let's go with Paul. Do you have any comments, Paul?
Yeah, I have a comment. My thought process is, I mean, we're talking about two issues here. Obviously, what was discussed, we have that noise issue. That's one, because of the bands, like Commissioner Huber had mentioned, the band being outside. But I think that the biggest problem is the alcohol. I mean, beer and wine is one thing. I mean, when you start getting distilled spirits into the night, to me, regardless if you have a band or not, you're going to end up with rowdy people. And if we're going to still have the same problem, the same outcome, to where there's going to be fights, there's going to be arguments, there's going to be things that led up to the shooting. So that's kind of my, that's kind of where I'm at, is that, they've been given a chance as an establishment to prove themselves. They've had a year to do it. And it seems to be, not only no progress, but lack of participation on their part. When it comes to as far as working with law enforcement, code enforcement, whatnot. So that's where my mindset is that I'm looking at two parts here, the noise and the alcohol, and I just think personally that there should be a stiffer action taken.
Commissioner Wells, do you have any thoughts?
Well, we did get a mention of a security guard speaking to a resident, so I'm gonna assume that at least one security guard is on duty. I don't have any proof of any others because we had requested 4. Even and looking at the time frames that the police department has provided for when they've had to go to that establishment in that parking lot are wee hours of the night, even many times after their closing time. The permit to have spirits for customers other than beer and wine, seem to have been a problem. And then the noise factor, most definitely. I have been personally in that parking lot late in the night and heard it myself, I must say, going over to Jack in the Box. So, but that just happened 1, maybe 2 times. I wasn't really disturbed by it, but I could hear it. Other than that, I think we have a lot to consider here and I really don't like the fact that an establishment cannot have entertainment, because entertainment is needed in our city, but it has to be regulated, and it has to be regulated by the owner in whatever way possible, because there's not much up here. So other than that, I don't have much more to say if we don't have, other than what has been presented through the planning commission, through the owner, through the police department.
Thank you, Commissioner Wells. And I think Commissioner Harriman, do you have some thoughts or trying to help, get towards some sort of a decision here, or even a motion eventually here?
No, I'm ready to make a motion.
Okay. I just had, a couple of wrap-up comments, I guess I'll call it. First, I would like to address the business owner and say it's unfortunate in a couple ways that we're here, and have to address this tonight. I do remember a year ago, and I remember you and your husband seemed like really good people, really good business owners. You had a good plan, and I felt in my gut that giving you the graces of the alcohol approvals to the city, and then the live music approvals and the extended hour approvals were because that the commission believed you that you would run this business responsibly, and that there would not be too many issues, because unfortunately Victorville, since I've been on this commission, sometimes we see issues with late night bars and entertainment that can get a bit out of control. And then unfortunately, on behalf of the citizens, things have to be reined back in. I also understand these difficult times with what's going on some of these extreme government regulations that we're all experiencing now. And I know that restaurants and bars are experiencing that, extra bad. And I feel for those businesses, and I truly want to look for any way that they can help, make ends meet, so to speak, until a time we can get back to normal, get back inside, get back to our routines. And so I do understand your need to be outside, and people want to be entertained, and it's music and it's drinking. But to me, it looks like it's been a little bit more abused than it could have had, even during these tough times. The not having the correct license, maybe not complying as well with code enforcement, and letting the music still happen. And it sounds from everyone, that it's not just some music to kick back and have some drinks and have your late night entertainment. Sounds like more of a concert situation to me, and that's not right at the corner of Main and Victorville, with residences and families in such close proximity. So it seems like the commission's kind of weighing towards, maybe option B or a hybrid of option B. I'm not really sure. And I would also like to discuss, or at least see what the commission thinks, or what staff may think about, should there be tightening up of the business operations? Is there a way that we could readdress that when the day happens that we are now back inside of this building? And maybe we can look at it a different way then. I'm not really sure. I'd probably have to hear from staff on that, but those are my feelings, and I think it might be similar with everybody else. So is there any more comments, or is anyone prepared to make a motion right now?
I'm ready to make a motion.
Okay.
I make a motion that we approve agenda number 2 with a staff recommendation of option C.
I second that.
What is option C?
I can read that for you. Option C would be the revocation of the conditional use permits ADMN 18-00127 and ADMN 19-0069. It's removing the ability to sell distilled spirits, removing the live entertainment, and eliminating the extended hours of operation.
You're eliminating hard liquor, is what we're saying?
That's correct. Option C would revoke their conditional use to allow for distilled spirits on site.
Did he say B or C?
He said C. Can we add to that about them obtaining the ABC permit license to that? They're operating outside, or she's already submitted it?
With option C, there will no longer be conditions of approval because of both conditional use permits would lapse. But we would follow up to ensure that through their business license that they're complying with ABC requirements.
Is there a second?
I second.
I already seconded it.
Have
Oh,
Paul the
okay.
second
Yeah, Paul
for
did
option
second.
C.
Mhm.
We have a motion in a second, but I would like to ask staff a question in the interim. With number C as an option, would this user, once they get back indoors and maybe they stabilize, or I don't know what the situation, would this user have the legal right to come back before the city and ask for a little more lenience, maybe in an hour or down the road, if they do want to sell distilled spirits? Is that a possibility?
It is a possibility. Our municipal code addresses that per section 16-3.02.100. For new applications, after a revocation or denial occurs, those should not be submitted until a year after the revocation happens. So mid-September next year, they could reapply.
Okay, thanks. Okay, yes, there's a motion and a second on the floor.
All right, I don't hear a substitute motion, so the original motion, I have Commissioner Harriman with a second by Vice Chair Marsh to recommend case ADM 19-00069 for approval as conditioned in option C. I'll take a roll call vote. Chair Kurth,
Yes.
Vice Chair Marsh,
Yes.
Commissioner Wells,
Yes.
Commissioner Huber,
No.
Commissioner Harriman.
Yes.
Motion carries with Commissioner Commissioner Huber voting no.
Okay. We're can move on to agenda item number 3 at this time. Staff report, please.
Alex, your volume's not working.
Can you hear me, Mr. Chair?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Chair, members of the commission, agenda item number 3 is a site plan with an environmental exemption to allow for the development of an approximately 2,300 square foot restaurant with a drive-through on C2 zone property. This project location is on the north side of Bear Valley Road, approximately 200 feet west of Locust Avenue. Specifically, the proposal consists of a 2,336 square foot restaurant that includes a drive-through and is located just west of the previously approved and developed Dunkin' Donuts site. This was a remainder parcel that was originally subdivided when that property was developed. As it was a remainder parcel, the existing driveway access points on the Bear Valley Road and Locust are existing. So this property will share those access points. It is oriented in a manner as to where the ordering menu, the vehicular stacking area, pickup window are essentially screened from view and will reduce any negative impacts to circulation or noise. Also included in the proposal is an outdoor seating area, and adjacent to that is a landscape area that will function as a dual use drainage basin that's landscaped in accordance with Title 16. Generally, the site plan meets all development standards of Title 16, landscaping as noted, parking, setbacks, and site access. Regarding the elevations, as conditioned, the elevations meet the commercial design guidelines. The applicant has worked with staff to revise the elevations so they incorporate elements of the Dunkin' Donuts site while still being able to stand alone as its own development. There are a few conditions regarding the metal awnings, wall-mounted lights, stone at the shade trellis supports, and the tower element that the applicant is aware of and I believe is agreeable to. And with those conditions, the project will conform with all the commercial design guidelines and the requirements therein. That being said, staff supports the item as conditioned and recommends its approval as noted in the staff report, with the project being found exempt pursuant to section 15332 of the California Environmental Quality Act, and with approval by resolution number P-20-030.
Okay, thank you. Is there any questions from the commission of staff on this project?
I have a question, Scott. You know, my pet peeve, trash enclosures. I've noticed that when they consolidate the grease container or whatever it's referred to as with the actual trash enclosure, it makes a horrid mess. Is this don't some of the restaurants or businesses that use a lot of grease, don't they have an underground grease pit that gets pumped out rather than having it dumped above ground and just makes a real mess of the concrete and the asphalt.
Yeah, our restaurants should have a grease trap, but there are sometimes additional grease items that are placed in the enclosure. I think it's more of a maintenance issue within that enclosure. So we can look into or condition this one to maintain a cleanly trash enclosure inside and out.
So it's not designed with a grease trap?
But this one is not. I have seen it in the past where it's more of a narrow section of the enclosure where they would have grease barrels and that type of thing.
Yeah, that's what I mean. When I see those, it's always a horrid mess. I know one of the shopping centers by my house has a McDonald's and a donut shop and a Mexican drive-through, and they have grease traps, and you just don't see that mess. Now, I'm sure McDonald's takes care of their trash enclosure over and beyond, but if staff thinks that's okay, I'm okay with it. But I would just like to see things get cleaned up. A lot of retail parking lots, restaurant parking lots are looking horrid in this city, and we got to put an end to it. And so I just think, tending to the grease is actually, in my opinion, an important thing to monitor.
We will make note of that and include it in upcoming code amendments. I do think that we could specify that as we update our trash enclosure standards, since we don't limit what things can be stored in the trash enclosure. So we could provide some more guidance regarding to grease.
Okay, thank you. That's all I have.
Any other questions of staff? Then I'll go ahead and open up the public hearing on agenda item number 3. Is there an applicant or anyone else that would like to speak to us on item number 3?
Yes, this is John DeFrenza. I am the applicant.
Hi, Mr. DeFrenza. Do you have any questions for us or any comments?
Well, obviously, I want to thank all the members for your time, your participation, and diligence for the project in front of you. We thank you deeply for your dedication to the community. And we want to thank staff, particularly Alex, for his efforts through the review process. Did a stellar job communicating with us and following responsive discourse on this project. Key elements that we worked through are the exterior elevations and the advancement of the site layout to work in a very, very tight configuration that was resulting of the Dunkin' Donuts design prior to us. Kind of fit Cinderella's shoe here to make it happen. Mr. Harriman, I think you bring up a very good point. I'm the architect for the Denny's, Sonic Burger, and a couple other projects in the restaurant world there in Victorville. Denny's was also another one. Both of those facilities use a grease storage chamber inside the restaurant, which then a truck comes and connects through an external snout and sucks that grease straight out of the inside of the building. That option is something that many restaurateurs prefer. It takes away that rolling or transfer of the used oil from the fryers that goes into those 50-gallon drums that are the bane of existence in the trash enclosure area. Maintenance of those bins and pickup of those bins can be done pretty cleanly and well and efficiently by many of the restaurateurs. So in this case, it's the fryer oil that I believe you're talking about and the discharge method of that for future reference. I will definitely talk to the Zendejas family and try to direct them toward using a grease storage unit inside the restaurant with the snout pickup, external pickup from directly within the restaurant. That's a much cleaner process and it serves everybody very well. The other part of what we're talking about is a underground storage tank, a UST. That's where any other grease-laden sewer waste is stored underground. And those are usually 750 gallons in size. And that's to keep your sewer systems clean and without overflow of sewer grease waste. Cleanliness and maintenance of that happens based on the quantity of food being sold in the place. Usually those things get cleaned out every 6 months. Some places get lazy and they don't do it for more than a year. So that's kind of a learned experience on my side. You could condition restaurants to show their records of what's called FOG, fog treatment, fats, oils, and grease. The conditions we've received from Alex for the minor adjustments are all acceptable, and we thank you very, very much for the guidance and direction, and look forward to getting this project started. Thank you again.
Thank you for all that, Mr. DeFrenza. That was good. Thank you. We have a homeless problem, and the more we control our trash, especially right there is another area that's getting bad. So I appreciate all the info. Thank you.
I had one quick question for Mr. DeFrenza. I noticed the name. Is it the name of the restaurant is Zendejas? Is that correct?
Yes, sir, it is. It's Eddie's Zendejas
family. Is that a family ownership? Is that a franchise or a small multi-location or just a one-off? I was just curious.
Well, they're actually just breaking into the community. They are based in Chino. Eddie Zendejas is the family patriarch. And they have 3 locations in the San Bernardino region. And this is their first branching out into the Victorville area. I also believe they have family in Victorville. So their history is well established in Chino, and they're currently under construction in Rialto and San Bernardino off of 29th and Waterman. I'm the architect for those 2 jobs. And historically, the Zendejas family, their son was a place kicker for USC way back when. So that may be where you recognize the name.
I believe they have a place in San Dimas also.
Unbeknownst to me.
Well, if they don't now, they used to.
Do they have a location in Ontario?
I believe so, yes. That one is a recent one that kind of was a shoehorned into an old drive-through that is really tight and not their biggest claim to fame.
Okay.
So, that one's kind of not the best example.
Okay.
All right, thank you. And I'd like to find out if there's anyone else that would like to speak to us on item number 3.
I don't have anyone raising their hand, and I did not receive any public comment via email.
Okay, thank you. Then I'll close the public hearing and I'll bring it back to the commission for a decision.
I'll motion, Mr. Chairman, to approve item number 3 according to staff recommendations.
And I will second.
We have a motion by Vice Chair Marsh with a second by Commissioner Wells. for approval of case PLAN 20-00018 for approval as conditioned. I'll take a roll call vote. Chair Kurth,
Yes.
Vice Chair Marsh,
Yes.
Commissioner Wells,
Yes.
Commissioner Huber,
Yes.
Commissioner Harriman,
Yes.
motion carries.
Thank you. Thank you, and good luck on that project. At this point, it's time for general public comments. In compliance with the Brown Act, the Planning Commission shall give time to the public to make comments on items within our subject matter jurisdiction. Is there anyone here to speak to the commission during public comment?
If you'd like to speak, please raise your hand. Chair Kurth, I have no one raising their hand and I did not receive any public comment via email.
Okay, thank you. At this point, we can go through commissioners' comments. We can start with Commissioner Wells. Anything to report?
Oh, no, just good to see you. I think we had a very good very productive meeting, and see you next time.
Commissioner Marsh?
No, I don't have anything. Thank you.
Commissioner Huber?
No, nothing.
Commissioner Harriman?
But of course. Yeah, I'd like to put something on the agenda to address some of the retail parking lots are looking really bad around town. And if we could put together some structure on based on size of the parking lot, but there's a lot of places that are just letting their landscape go. Nobody's picking up the trash overnight. And it's my belief that once a parking lot gets so big, they should be required by the city to have a maintenance company come and make sure that that parking lot stays clean. I mean, you know, there's a lot of stuff happening. And then the other thing I'd like to say is I understand the old Target building is getting ready to be occupied. And I think that's very good news. And if anyone didn't know, I guess it's going to be a car dealership. So they're going to redo the whole building, and it's really going to add some get rid of that magnet of trash right there. It'll be really good. That's all I have.
Thanks. I have nothing to report. Anything from city staff? Any comments or updates?
Yes, in relation to Commissioner Harriman's comment regarding the retail parking lots, if it's the consensus of the commission, he mentioned bringing something on the agenda. If it's the consensus of the commission, staff can move forward with agendizing that at the next meeting. If you want to give feedback now, does that sound in general from the commission a topic to discuss? Sounds like we can look at some other cities and bring forward some guidance on how other cities are regulating commercial parking lot maintenance for a possible code amendment in the future.
I think that would be best because I don't know too many ways other than, clean it up yourself or code enforcement, putting more duties on and trying to go parking lot to parking lot. So maybe looking at what other cities does will give us a good head start. I'm okay with that.
Okay. All right. So we'll move forward. We'll move forward with placing that on the agenda and giving you some options related to that. I also wanted to bring the commission up to speed on an action that the city council took at their August 18th meeting. They approved the application for home key funding for the Wellness and Recuperative Care Center to be located north of Evadale Park. With that home key funding, if the city does receive the grant funding, the city's able to forego compliance with their land use standards that are discretionary in nature. They still would need to go through building permits. We would still take this item through a site plan review of the commission. So we are expecting to hear back from the state's Department of Housing and Community Development within the coming days, hopefully. But if we do receive funding, we will bring forward to the Planning Commission at their October 21st meeting. We will bring forward the site plan for the commission to review. This is a very tight construction performance period. We would have to have the facility operational by March of next year, 2021. So we'll have more information to provide you if you want to get up to speed on what the city council's actions were. I would recommend that you pull up that agenda item from their August 18th meeting. But it is a great opportunity for the city to address the homeless needs in light of this post-legal environment we're in as far as enforcing anti-camping laws in the wake of the Boise, Idaho case, which requires cities to provide facilities for homeless before we start enforcing anti-camping. So I'm available if you have questions on the proposal. Look forward to bringing it forward to you if we receive funding. We just wanted to bring you up to speed on that application. And that's all I have.
Scott, when you made mention that that we would be waiving some of the discretionary approvals, you mean specifically on this project?
That is correct.
What would an example of that be?
So in this context, the site in question where the city council authorized staff to move forward, it's actually located within an open space area of the Old Town specific plan. So the Old Town specific plan doesn't permit this type of interim housing within the specific plan. However, the state legislature, to kind of help speed the process of building interim housing units, authorized any applicant that receives this home key funding, they have the ability to waive that requirement. And with the city council's action that they took on August 18th, they acknowledged that due to the tight construction timeframe, that we would need to waive that discretionary review.
Okay. Thanks. Well, if there's nothing else, then I'll say thank you all and meeting adjourned.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Good night.
Take care. Stay safe.